Imagine, if you will, a team of archaeologists, their boots crunching on the sun-baked earth of Judea. They are not searching for dinosaurs, but a different kind of ancient mystery. Their quest, to unearth forgotten manuscripts near the Zohar fortress, perched high above the Dead Sea, some 2,600 feet in the air. This is no mere treasure hunt, it's a mission sanctioned by the authorities, a campaign to safeguard historical sites from looters and illegal excavations. Little did they know, their shovels were about to strike something far more astonishing than ancient texts. What emerged from the shifting sands was unlike anything they had encountered before. A pyramid, its form unmistakable, yet utterly unexpected in this landscape. It was constructed atop a hill, each stone meticulously hand-cut and weighing hundreds of pounds. Initially, the team surmised it was simply an elaborate tomb. But as they examined the structure's original walls, the realization dawned. This was a deliberate construction, a testament to ingenuity and purpose. The signs of prior intrusion were evident. Looters had clearly attempted to plunder its depths. Fortunately, the desert had kept most of its secrets buried. The first week of excavation yielded an extraordinary bounty. Fragile fragments of papyrus surfaced alongside gleaming bronze vases and remarkably preserved ancient furniture. The arid climate, usually unforgiving, had become an unlikely ally. The lack of humidity had prevented the growth of mold, safeguarding organic materials like wood and fibers from decay. It was as if time itself had conspired to protect these relics. Early hypotheses pointed to the First Temple period, but the evidence soon suggested a more recent origin. The Hellenistic period. This placed the pyramid's construction roughly 2,200 years ago, likely in the aftermath of Alexander the Great's death. His vast empire fractured, with his generals vying for control. Ptolemy seized Egypt and the surrounding regions, including the Dead Sea area, while Seleucus held sway over the north, encompassing much of the modern Middle East. The question remains, did the pyramid rise under Ptolemaic or Seleucid rule? Both Ptolemaic and Seleucid coins have been unearthed at the site, yet many scholars lean towards Ptolemaic patronage. Evidence suggests that the structure, despite its imposing presence, eventually succumbed to collapse. But this wasn't the reason it was abandoned. So, what was its purpose? Was it a tomb, taking advantage of its commanding location? Or perhaps a monument, a statement of power and legacy? A compelling theory suggests the pyramid served as a guard tower, protecting a vital trade route. Along this path, precious resources like salt and bitumen from the Dead Sea were transported to coastal ports. It may have also functioned as a customs post, where Ptolemaic officials collected taxes from travelers, a prehistoric toll booth, if you will. The papyrus documents remain enigmatic, but their Greek script hints at their nature. Some experts speculate they are tax records, aligning perfectly with the guard tower theory. The team considers it a captivating historical puzzle, slowly being pieced together. This discovery, however significant, is but a single grain of sand in the vast desert of history. This dig is part of a larger ongoing project. In the last 8 years alone, 111 miles of desert cliffs have been meticulously scanned, revealing approximately 900 caves hidden within the landscape. Using rappelling equipment, cutting-edge technology, and specialized documentation methods, archaeologists have recovered thousands of rare artifacts, hidden scrolls, woodworking tools, carpets, leather goods, and even long-lost treasures. To these researchers, the Judean desert is an ancient vault, waiting to relinquish its secrets. Years before the pyramid's discovery, another remarkable find emerged. A cave that served as a refuge for Jewish rebels nearly 1,900 years ago. Located 262 feet below the top of a treacherous cliff, its inaccessibility had kept it hidden from explorers. Inside, they discovered previously unknown fragments of the Dead Sea Scrolls, containing religious passages penned in Greek. 11 lines of text were painstakingly reconstructed. The exceptional condition of the papyri allowed scientists to decipher their etymological content with relative ease. The dry, hot desert had once again proven to be the ultimate preserver, safeguarding these priceless artifacts for millennia. Imagine venturing to a place so remote, so isolated, that it feels like stepping back into a forgotten era. Consider La Paz, Bolivia, a city nestled high in the Andes, its altitude reaching a staggering 11,940 feet above sea level. Now, picture life near Mount Roraima, a place equally challenging to reach, yet potentially habitable for those who dare. But there's more to this story than just altitude and isolation. The Paimon people, the ancestral guardians of this land, possess a rich tapestry of myths and legends that intertwine with the very essence of Mount Roraima. Their mythology speaks of deities residing atop the tepuis, those distinctive flat-topped mountains that rise majestically from the surrounding grasslands. These tepuis are not merely geological formations. They are sacred spaces, forbidden to the living, believed to be the dwelling places of ancestral spirits, known as Miri. Traditions, therefore, play a significant role in shaping life in this region, often restricting settlement and access. Yet, despite these spiritual boundaries, some accounts suggest that local communities do indeed reside in the shadow of Roraima. Of course, modern challenges extend beyond the realm of spirits, encompassing limited economic opportunities in such a remote locale. Despite the difficulties, guided tours offer a glimpse into this extraordinary world. What wonders await those who embark on such an adventure? At the foot of Mount Roraima lies a vibrant evergreen rainforest, a verdant tapestry of trees ranging from 82 to 150 feet in height, with some giants soaring to an astonishing 200 feet. Within this forest, you'll discover endemic species, plants found nowhere else on Earth. Imagine orchids as large as a medium-sized tree, a testament to the unique evolutionary path forged in this isolated haven. Unlike the flora and fauna found in more accessible regions, the species here have evolved in remarkable isolation, creating a biological tapestry unlike any other. And then there are the waterfalls, ancient cascades that have flowed for millions of years, thundering down the slopes of Roraima. Interestingly, no rivers originate on the summit itself. Instead, rainwater seeps through the porous rock, creating these breathtaking displays of natural beauty. The combination of rainforest, towering cliffs, and cascading waterfalls gives the impression of a truly lost world, a place untouched by time. It's no surprise that these tepuis, including the majestic Mount Roraima, served as inspiration for Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's classic novel, The Lost World. Yes, the creator of Sherlock Holmes also penned tales of dinosaurs and prehistoric adventure. Among these natural wonders, Mount Roraima stands out as one of the most accessible tepuis. While similar formations exist, they are far less amenable to trekking and exploration. While Roraima may be the easiest to reach, it remains a formidable challenge, even with the aid of modern technology. So, how was this lost world discovered? The exact details remain shrouded in mystery, but historical records offer a compelling theory. In the 16th century, Sir Walter Raleigh, a prominent figure in the Elizabethan era, learned of a legendary golden city near the Caroni River. This idea captivated him, perhaps as a means to amass wealth and fame. In 1595, Raleigh embarked on an expedition to explore what is now Guyana and eastern Venezuela, during which he meticulously described Mount Roraima. On March 22, 1595, an English fleet under Raleigh's command appeared off the coast of Trinidad. Raleigh attempted to ingratiate himself with the Spanish settlers through trade and hospitality, even inviting them aboard his ships for entertainment. Over drinks, the Spaniards shared information about a person engaged in clandestine activities in Guyana, offering insights into the land's geography and the hidden treasures they believed it held. By April 7th, Raleigh launched a surprise attack on the town of San Jose, capturing this key individual. After extracting information from him, Raleigh declared his intention to venture into Guyana in search of the fabled Golden City, El Dorado. Recognizing that his ships were too large to navigate the narrow channels of the Orinoco Delta, Raleigh ordered his carpenters to modify one of them, likely a galleot, to reduce its draft to only 5 feet. This modified vessel could carry 60 men, while another 40 were distributed among smaller boats. Progress was slow as they navigated the intricate delta, becoming lost in what Raleigh described as a labyrinth of rivers. Eventually, they reached the Caño Manamo and then the main Orinoco River. Further upstream, where the Orinoco meets the Caroni, Raleigh encountered a native chief named Topiawari, with whom he established a rapport. Topiawari revealed that his people had been driven from their lands in inland Guyana by a fierce tribe from the west. This aligned with the prevailing belief, shared by both the Spanish and Raleigh, that El Dorado was a refuge for runaway Incas from Peru. Topiawari also mentioned that the invading tribe possessed great riches in gold, claiming that their nearest town, just a 4-day trek south, was the source of the gold plates traded far and wide. He hinted that even greater treasures lay deeper within the land. Raleigh then made his way to the mouth of the Caroni River, but strong currents prevented further progress. He dispatched 2 scouting parties on land, while he mounted a 3rd expedition, driven by the allure of gold. His men eagerly dug into the earth, unearthing shiny stones that promised riches. Alas, most proved worthless, mere fool's gold mocking their efforts. They discovered a vast lake, nearly 40 miles across, at the head of the Caroni River, rumored to be laden with alluvial gold. But the unforgiving terrain and rising waters of the Orinoco conspired against them. Raleigh, his dreams fading, was forced to abandon the expedition, clinging to the hope of a return when conditions improved. More than 2 decades would pass before, in 1616, Raleigh received the green light from King James III for a second attempt in Guyana. He assured the king of a substantial gold discovery from a mine near the Caroni, a location whispered about from his earlier journey. James, however, issued a stern warning. Avoid conflict with the Spanish, who maintained control over the Orinoco region. Upon reaching South America, Raleigh remained aboard his ship, dispatching Lawrence Keymis and a team to locate the elusive mine. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. For reasons shrouded in mystery, Keymis and his men attacked and seized the Spanish town of Santo Tomé. In the ensuing skirmish, Raleigh's son, Watt, tragically lost his life. The mine remained unfound. The crew returned to the ship, where Keymis faced Raleigh's wrath. Overwhelmed by despair and guilt, Keymis took his own life. Back in England, Raleigh faced trial, accused of fabricating the mine's existence and inciting conflict with Spain. The accusations ultimately led to his execution. Or perhaps, some whispered, it was the Mari spirits, guardians of the land, who resented the intrusion and exacted their revenge. Now, let us turn our gaze to another marvel of the ancient world, the Great Pyramids of Giza. The sole survivor of the original 7 wonders, these monumental structures continue to inspire awe. But were you aware that the Giza pyramids were not the only pyramids erected in ancient times? Nor were they even the first. There were earlier attempts, perhaps not quite as grand, but significant nonetheless. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs were believed to be chosen by the gods, serving as their earthly representatives. Upon death, they were expected to transcend mortality and become gods themselves. The pyramid complex was meticulously designed to ensure the pharaoh's needs were met in the afterlife. This complex included the pyramid itself, a palace, and accompanying temples. Within the pyramid's tomb, the pharaoh was interred alongside an array of essential items, furniture, food, and precious gold vessels. Remarkably, the first pyramid predates the Great Pyramid of Giza by approximately 80 years. In total, around 100 pyramids were constructed throughout ancient Egypt. However, some remained unfinished, as their construction spanned considerable time, and not every pharaoh reigned long enough to witness their completion. Let's delve into the construction of these colossal monuments. The largest of the Giza pyramids soars to the height of a 40-story building. How did the ancient Egyptians, millennia before the advent of modern machinery, manage to erect such a massive structure? Pharaoh Khufu ascended the throne around 2575 BCE, and his architects immediately commenced construction of the oldest and largest of the Giza pyramids. Their calculations determined that over 2 million limestone blocks would be required, each weighing roughly 2.5 tons, about the weight of a rhinoceros. The ambitious plan called for completion within 20 years. To achieve this, a stone had to be quarried, transported, and precisely positioned every 4 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Such an undertaking demanded an enormous workforce. Contrary to popular belief, it was not solely enslaved people who toiled on the pyramid construction site. Workers flocked from all corners of Egypt to contribute to the project. Numbering around 25,000, these Egyptians performed a wide range of tasks, from manual labor and crafting tools to administrative duties. They typically worked for around 10 hours a day and were housed and well fed, enjoying a standard of living exceeding that of the average Egyptian at the time. They resided in a nearby temporary city, a highly organized community led by a strong figure. The pyramids were meticulously designed to align with the cardinal directions, their sides symbolizing the sun's rays. Incredibly, the ancient Egyptians achieved this precision without the aid of compasses. They utilized two constellations to determine the precise alignment. The construction site was strategically located on the west bank of the Nile River, a location imbued with symbolic meaning. Just as the sun sets in the west, so too does life. The second pyramid of Giza was commissioned by Khufu's son, Pharaoh Khafre. Slightly smaller than its predecessor, it is famously associated with the enigmatic Sphinx, the colossal statue of a mythical creature with the body of a lion and the head of a man. Of course, the Sphinx originally possessed a nose. What became of it remains a mystery, lost to the sands of time. Sphinxes. Imagine, if you will, a creature of myth and legend, a being with the powerful body of a lion and the intelligent face of a human. These were the Sphinxes, revered as guardians, protectors of sacred and important places. Before us stands the most famous of these enigmatic monuments, the Great Sphinx of Giza. Carved with the face believed to be that of Pharaoh Khafre, it silently guards his pyramid, its gaze fixed eternally towards the rising sun. This colossal statue is not only immense in scale, one of the largest and oldest statues on Earth, but also rich in forgotten history. Originally, the Sphinx was not the monochrome figure we see today. It once boasted a nose, now lost to time, and was vibrantly painted. Imagine the sight. Scientists have painstakingly uncovered traces of red pigment on its face, suggesting a fiery visage. And that's not all. Remnants of yellow and blue hues have been found on its body. This was no dull monument, it was a spectacle of color. Incredibly, until around the year 1800, the Sphinx was buried up to its very shoulders, in sand, swallowed by the desert. It took a determined adventurer and a team of 160 men to finally excavate it, revealing the full grandeur of this ancient sentinel. But let's delve into the construction of these monumental pyramids, the Sphinx's companions. The builders needed vast quantities of stone. They sourced it from two primary locations. A quarry close to the construction site provided a yellow stone, rich with fossil inclusions. However, this stone was deemed suitable only for the pyramid's interior. For the exterior, the gleaming outer shell, they required limestone blocks of higher quality. These limestone blocks were hauled from a quarry located approximately 8 kilometers away. Imagine the effort. Workers used sleds, some 30 feet long, to transport these massive stones. Surprisingly, moving them wasn't as difficult as one might think. By carefully mixing the sand with water, they created a surprisingly slick surface. A team of just 10 people could reportedly pull a sled carrying a rock weighing several tons. The real challenge wasn't the quarrying itself. While still underground, the limestone was relatively soft and easy to cut. However, once exposed to the open air, the stone hardened considerably. Shaping these hardened blocks with precision was the most demanding task. The slightest inaccuracy could compromise the structural integrity of the entire pyramid, leading to catastrophic collapse. So, the limestone was mined, transported on sleds, and meticulously shaped. But how were these colossal blocks lifted into place, reaching staggering heights? This remains one of the great mysteries of ancient Egypt. Archaeologists have unearthed evidence of ramp systems dating back to the period of pyramid construction. The prevailing theory among historians is that the Egyptians employed a sophisticated ramp system to maneuver these enormous stone blocks. The most common idea involves a central ramp, possibly with staircases on either side, built directly onto the pyramid structure. As the pyramid rose, the ramp would be extended, growing in height along with the construction. Workers may have ascended these stairs, hauling the stones on wooden sleds. However, this is just one hypothesis. Other experts propose ramps encircling the pyramid, while some even suggest internal ramp systems. Perhaps the definitive answer will forever elude us, remaining a tantalizing enigma. The exterior limestone of the pyramid was painstakingly polished with sand and stone until it shone brilliantly. At its apex, a capstone of gold and silver reflected the sun's rays, creating a dazzling beacon that shimmered across the Egyptian landscape, a second sun dominating the horizon. This was the site 5,000 years ago. Now, let's venture inside. Surprisingly, the interior of the Great Pyramid is relatively simple. The vast majority of its volume is solid stone, with only a limited amount of open space. From the entrance, two passageways diverge. One descends while the other ascends, leading to the inner chambers. There are three main chambers within the pyramid. Why three? It's believed that throughout the pyramid's construction, a burial chamber had to be prepared at all times, ready to receive the pharaoh's remains, should he die unexpectedly before the completion of the project. Thus, chambers were constructed sequentially as the pyramid grew. The final chamber, intended for the reigning pharaoh, became the main one. This is the king's chamber, the resting place of Khufu. This chamber, the largest within the pyramid, lies at its very heart. A grand passageway leads to it, likely serving as a type of elevator for raising granite blocks used in the interior construction. Granite was also used to create 5 layers of support beams above the king's chamber, reinforcing the structure and preventing its collapse. The enduring stability of the pyramid, standing for millennia, attests to the effectiveness of this design. Curiously, none of these chambers are adorned with hieroglyphs. To witness these ancient writings, one must visit the decorated tombs located near the pyramids. These artistic renderings offer invaluable insights into ancient Egyptian culture and daily life. The inscriptions allow researchers to decipher their language and grammar. The treasures that once filled the pyramids have long since been plundered. Many secret tunnels and passages are said to exist within the pyramids, but even today, a complete map of the interior remains elusive. Scientists have deployed small robots equipped with cameras for years, yet vast areas remain unexplored. Currently, researchers are exploring the use of X-ray technology to scan the pyramids from the outside, hoping to penetrate their secrets without physically entering them. The ancient Egyptians have truly created a mystery that has defied solution for 5,000 years. Imagine now that it is nighttime, and you are about to step inside the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. Imagine yourself stepping into the darkness, descending into the earth towards the final resting place of a king. Not just any king, but the boy king, Tutankhamun himself. You're no Howard Carter, and you haven't got a team of excavators, just a flashlight cutting through the oppressive gloom. Down you go, flight after flight of stairs, the walls alive with ancient hieroglyphs, a language lost to time. You trace the outlines of the carvings, noticing what looks like a spell, a warning etched in stone. Those who take anything from this place will be doomed. A shiver runs down your spine. Superstition or not, the air is thick with the weight of centuries. Ahead, a massive stone door. Is this it? A trap lies waiting? With a groan of stone against stone, it grinds open, only to reveal an empty chamber. Disappointment stings, but the map confirms you're on the right track. Time stretches, each step echoing in the silence. Hours blur as you wander deeper, the passages twisting and turning, a labyrinth designed to confound. Panic begins to set in. You try to retrace your steps, but the entrance has vanished. You're lost, swallowed by the pharaoh's tomb. And to make matters worse, you realize you forgot to pack a lunch. We've all seen the movies, haven't we? The intrepid explorer navigating booby-trapped tombs, dodging venomous scorpions, outsmarting pressure plates that trigger tons of rock. Egyptian royalty, it's said, protected their eternal slumber with deadly ingenuity, sliding doors, crushing boulders, bottomless pits. But how much of this is fact, and how much is Hollywood fantasy? The truth, perhaps disappointingly, is that the elaborate, technologically advanced traps of the silver screen are largely fiction. Ancient civilizations, ingenious as they were, likely couldn't have engineered such complex mechanisms. That's not to say that tombs were left unguarded. Ancient Egyptians and the Mayans of Central America were masters of monumental architecture, constructing elaborate structures to honor their dead. These monuments, especially those of rulers and important figures, were filled with treasures meant to accompany them into the afterlife. Imagine the temptation. Knowing the location of a pharaoh's tomb, hearing whispers of unimaginable riches, rooms overflowing with gold artifacts, glittering jewels, unimaginable wealth. With no security guards and the lure of riches proving too strong for some, the Egyptians had to be creative. One common tactic was the construction of false chambers. These empty rooms were designed to disorient and confuse potential robbers, leading them on a wild goose chase through the darkness. Consider the tomb of Amenhotep III, located in Luxor's Valley of the Kings. Discovered by French engineers in the early 20th century, this sprawling complex boasts over 10 chambers, connected by a network of corridors and steep stairways. To reach the king's burial chamber, an intruder would have to navigate a maze of empty rooms, a frustrating and time-consuming endeavor. Other pharaohs employed false doors concealing deep pits, some plunging 20 feet into the earth. An unsuspecting tomb robber, blinded by greed, could easily stumble into one of these hidden traps, their quest for riches ending in a painful fall. Labyrinthine corridors and false walls further complicated matters, designed to exhaust and delay intruders, buying time for the tomb's defenses, whatever they may be. As for pits filled with venomous snakes, the reality is less dramatic. While reptiles may have occasionally found their way into tombs, they wouldn't have survived long in the dark, airless environment without food or water. So, another Hollywood myth debunked. But not all tomb defenses were so mundane. Archaeologists discovered a fascinating deterrent in the tomb of the Red Queen of Palenque, a powerful Mayan city in modern-day Mexico. The Red Queen, believed to be the grandmother of the last Mayan king, was a figure of immense importance. A grand monument was built to house her remains after her death. The discovery of her tomb was a thrilling event in itself. While excavating at the site, imagine, if you will, venturing back to 1994. A team of archaeologists is meticulously excavating an ancient Mayan site, their shovels biting into the earth. Suddenly, their efforts are rewarded. They unearth a hidden room, concealed behind a cleverly disguised door. Excitement surges through the team as they push the door open, revealing a long, dark corridor stretching before them. At the corridor's end lies the ultimate prize, the Queen's chamber. The archaeologists can barely contain their elation. Here, undisturbed for centuries, lies the mummy of the Queen herself. Her final resting place is adorned with treasures, lustrous pearls, intricately carved jade shells, and precious rocks that gleam even in the dim light. But as the team carefully examines the chamber, a puzzling detail emerges. The room is blanketed in a vibrant red powder. The researchers recognize the significance of the color red in Mayan culture. It was a dominant hue in their clothing and architecture. Yet the purpose of this mysterious red substance within the Queen's tomb remains unclear. Samples are carefully collected and transported back to the lab for analysis. The results are startling. The red powder is cinnabar, a mineral containing mercury, a substance known to be extremely toxic. Inhaling cinnabar dust can cause devastating health problems. A chilling realization dawns upon the team. This wasn't mere decoration, it was a deadly trap designed to deter grave robbers from plundering the Queen's riches. So, dangerous powders were a high-stakes method of protecting ancient tombs. But perhaps an even simpler, more cost-effective deterrent was the use of inscribed spells plastered across the monument's surfaces. While we might scoff at such things today, in ancient times these pronouncements carried considerable weight. These spells typically warned that anyone who dared to steal from the tomb would suffer a terrible fate. Some spells foretold of thieves losing their homes in raging fires or devastating floods. Others threatened burglars with incurable and mysterious illnesses. Yet, despite these ominous warnings, they often proved insufficient to prevent determined grave robbers from seizing gold and artifacts. However, legends whisper that these spells sometimes held genuine power. Take, for example, the story of the renowned British Egyptologist Howard Carter. It was Carter who, in the 1920s, famously unearthed the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. After months of fruitless searching, Carter stumbled upon the tomb's entrance almost by accident. He discovered the top of a stairway buried beneath the very ground he had been meticulously combing for months. With his team, he cleared away the accumulated sand and debris, revealing a sealed doorway. Royal symbols were emblazoned upon the door, signaling that a person of immense importance lay within. Carter's heart pounded with anticipation. Carefully, using a chisel, he created a small opening in the doorway's upper left corner. He held a candle to the opening, peering into the darkness. What he saw left him breathless. The chamber was overflowing with glittering gold and dazzling jewels, reflecting the flickering candlelight. After being lost for over 3,000 years, Carter had discovered the final resting place of the boy king, Tutankhamun. But this incredible discovery was followed by a series of unfortunate events, fueling speculation that the pharaoh's curse was real. Carter himself died mysteriously just a few years later. Some of his assistants reportedly lost their homes in floods, eerily mirroring the threats inscribed in the tomb's spells. Some dismissed these events as mere coincidence, lacking concrete proof of a connection. But what do you think? Was the curse of Tutankhamun a real and effective trap? Now, let's journey back to 1850. French scientist Auguste Mariette traveled to Egypt in search of ancient manuscripts. During his explorations, he made an unexpected discovery: the head of a sphinx protruding from the desert sands. Intrigued, Mariette ordered the sand to be cleared away, revealing that the sphinx marked the entrance to a vast underground complex. Months later, Mariette and his team finally gained access to the Serapeum of Saqqara. Inside, they were confronted by colossal granite sarcophagi, alongside the skeletal remains of 64 bulls. To this day, scientists are astounded by the advanced engineering and technology that the ancient Egyptians employed to transport and position these massive stone boxes. Construction of the Serapeum began around 3000 BCE. This subterranean tomb was dedicated to honoring the sacred Apis bulls of ancient Egypt. A long, seemingly endless hallway stretched for nearly 500 feet, with enormous stone chambers branching off on either side. Each chamber housed a sarcophagus. Some of these sarcophagi weighed as much as 50 modern cars. Each sarcophagus was crafted with incredible precision, featuring perfect 90-degree angles. These imposing structures were adorned with intricate hieroglyphs and carvings, narrating the lives and significance of the Apis bulls. Today, 24 sarcophagi remain within the Serapeum. Apis bulls held a revered position in ancient Egyptian society. They were believed to be linked to the deity Ptah. Egyptians believed that these bulls were earthly incarnations of Ptah's spirit and wisdom, offering guidance to the pharaoh and protection to the people. Priests would carefully examine young bulls, searching for specific markings that identified them as the chosen Apis. These markings could include a white triangle on the forehead, symbolizing divine light, or a marking on its back resembling a vulture's wing. Imagine, if you will, ancient Egypt, not just the land of pharaohs and pyramids, but a place of immense, almost unbelievable engineering feats. Let's journey back to a time when the sacred Apis bull, a symbol of strength and rebirth, was revered as a god incarnate. These magnificent creatures, marked with a distinctive scarab shape beneath their tongue, were believed to be chosen by the god Ptah himself. Chosen bulls lived a life of luxury within a special temple in Memphis, the very heart of Ptah's worship. Imagine the scene: priests attending to their every need, visitors showering them with offerings, all seeking the bull's divine blessing. And when an Apis bull reached the end of its natural life, it was treated with the utmost reverence. Its body was mummified, a testament to its sacred status. Now picture Auguste Mariette entering the Serapeum, a vast underground complex dedicated to these sacred bulls. He noticed faint traces of rollers etched into the gallery floor, remnants of a long-forgotten technology. He uncovered 2 horizontal wooden winches, each equipped with 8 levers, hinting at the immense effort required to move the massive sarcophagi within. Later explorers would discover a network of double rails. The burial chambers, nestled below the hallway floor, presented a formidable challenge. To maneuver these colossal boxes into their final resting place, the ancient Egyptians employed a clever technique. They filled the chambers with sand, creating a level surface upon which the sarcophagi could be rolled. Then, with painstaking precision, they gradually removed the sand, gently lowering the boxes into spaces carved with unbelievable accuracy into the bedrock. A carved stone inscription unearthed within the Serapeum offers a glimpse into the sheer scale of this undertaking. It reveals that during the reign of Tami II, it took a staggering 28 days to move just one sarcophagus and its lid into its designated niche. The precision of these sarcophagi, with their perfectly square 90-degree angles, speaks volumes about the advanced knowledge of ancient Egyptian geometers. Texts written on papyrus demonstrate their understanding of the approximate value of pi and their ability to calculate the volume of a truncated pyramid. If they could master such complex mathematical concepts, then surely they possessed the skill to carve flawlessly flat surfaces centuries later. While this explanation seems plausible, some believe that certain aspects of the Serapeum remain shrouded in mystery. The sheer size of the boxes dwarfs that of the bulls they were intended to house. Why, they ask, would the pharaohs be interred in relatively small coffins while these massive sarcophagi were reserved for animals? The fact that these sarcophagi were crafted from granite, a notoriously difficult material to work with when limestone would have been far easier, also raises questions. The logistics of transporting these immense boxes, weighing many tons, defy easy explanation. Calculations suggest that it would have required a force of at least 250 men to pull just one sarcophagus. Yet the tunnels within the Serapeum are remarkably narrow, barely wider than the boxes themselves. How could hundreds of workers have squeezed into these confined spaces to maneuver the sarcophagi? And even if they could, how would they have managed to turn the boxes in the cramped corridors, lower them into their niches, and position them with such unwavering accuracy? Yet they accomplished this feat not once, but 24 times, with each box perfectly centered. Adding to the enigma is the fact that the chambers were remarkably clean, devoid of the soot that would have been expected from the lamps used to illuminate the work. This suggests that the work was carried out in near total darkness. Perhaps, some speculate, the true purpose of these massive boxes was something far different than the burial of sacred bulls. Long before the age of the pharaohs, the ancient Egyptians possessed knowledge of fermentation, the process by which microorganisms like yeast transform starches into gases and ethanol. Imagine a scenario where ancient Egyptians placed barley, bread, or even meat inside these giant granite boxes, sealing them tightly with their heavy lids. These meticulously crafted boxes, with their near-perfect seals, would have prevented any escape. As the yeast began to work, it would have produced increasing amounts of carbon dioxide gas, building immense pressure within the box. Granite, an incredibly strong material, can withstand pressures far exceeding that of a car tire. Under such immense pressure, the quartz crystals within the granite would have generated a tiny electrical charge, a phenomenon known as the piezoelectric effect. The presence of meat or animal parts rich in oleic acid may have been crucial for sustaining the yeast and mitigating the harmful effects of the ethanol produced. Over time, the escalating pressure inside the boxes, combined with the electrical charge, may have transformed these structures into powerful energy systems. Eventually, the pressure would have become so intense that it could force the lid open, releasing the accumulated gas with a resounding pop. Intriguingly, when the Serapeum was rediscovered in 1850, explorers found ancient drawings depicting piles of stones stacked atop some of the box lids. This suggests that someone, long ago, attempted to reinforce the seals, making it even more difficult for the gas pressure to force them open. This added weight would have also amplified the piezoelectric effect, causing the quartz crystals in the granite to generate even more electricity. If someone were to open one of these stone boxes millennia later, they would likely find only the bones of the bulls that had been placed within. And that is precisely what Mariette discovered in the 1850s, when he opened the Serapeum to the world. Imagine traveling back in time to the dawn of archaeology, to the era shortly after the first great excavations of the 19th century. Picture this. Even the Prince of Wales himself, a figure of immense historical importance, enjoyed a luncheon with esteemed guests inside one of the ancient sarcophagi. A scene of opulence and discovery, now almost unimaginable. But the desert holds its secrets close. Relentless sands and devastating earthquakes conspired to render the site inaccessible for years, shrouding it once more in mystery. Now, however, the path is open. We can once again venture into this lost world and attempt to unravel its enigmas. And with the advent of groundbreaking technologies, the answers to countless other historical mysteries may soon be within our grasp. Consider, for instance, the work of a dedicated team of scientists at Chicago's renowned Field Museum of Natural History. These experts recently employed a state-of-the-art CT scanner to delve into the secrets of ancient Egyptian mummies, all without disturbing their ancient wrappings. Picture the scene. 26 mummies, each a vessel of history, carefully wheeled on custom carts out to the museum's parking lot, where the powerful scanner awaited. For each mummy, thousands upon thousands of detailed X-ray images were captured, a painstaking process of digital resurrection. When these images were meticulously assembled, they conjured breathtaking 3D renderings, revealing the skeletal structures within, as well as any accompanying artifacts. The scientists involved hope that these unprecedented images will shed new light on the funerary practices of ancient Egyptians, offering insights into a civilization that thrived over 3,000 years ago. While the scanning itself took a mere 4 days, the subsequent analysis of the vast amount of data could consume up to 3 years. Even at this early stage, however, the scientists have gleaned fascinating personal details about the mummies. Take, for example, Lady Sheneta, one of the museum's most celebrated mummified individuals. This woman lived in ancient Egypt some 3,000 years ago, and the scan suggests that she passed away in her late 30s or early 40s. The care taken in preparing her body for the afterlife is remarkable. To ensure her appearance remained complete, the embalmers meticulously stuffed her neck to prevent any collapse. Artificial eyes were carefully placed in her eye sockets, ensuring she would possess sight in the next world. She was then swathed in luxurious linen and laid to rest within a beautifully adorned coffin. The scans further revealed the intricate craftsmanship of the coffin, which featured a discreet slit at the back, ingeniously used by the embalmers to position the body. Artistic details, such as markings indicating her knees, were also evident on the surface. It appears that Lady Sheneta's burial was akin to the opulence associated with a high-end luxury car, a testament to her status and the beliefs of her time. But now, let's shift our focus to another, equally perplexing, archaeological puzzle. What is a boat doing in the middle of the desert? It's a question that has haunted archaeologists for decades. One would naturally expect to find a seagoing vessel closer to the shore, the domain of ships and sailors. In 1988, a fierce storm swept across one of ancient Egypt's most significant archaeological sites. As the sands shifted, a remarkable discovery was made. A wooden structure, partially exposed, emerged from the desert floor. Termites had long since hollowed it out. The scientists were determined to unravel the mystery of this strange artifact. In the year 2000, an American team of experts initiated a full-scale excavation near Abydos. They soon unearthed a boat measuring an impressive 70 feet in length, but it wasn't alone. In total, 14 boats were found, neatly arranged side by side, as if awaiting a command. Due to their fragile condition, a complete excavation of the boats proved impossible. Fortunately, enough of the wood had been preserved to allow for analysis. The results were astonishing. The boats were approximately 5,000 years old, making them the oldest known fleet in human history. Their construction predates the iconic pyramids at Giza by half a millennium. Each ship of this ancient fleet rested within a vault specifically tailored to its dimensions. Each chamber was roughly 1/3 the size of a tennis court. They had mud brick walls adorned with over 120 meticulously rendered drawings of boats. Ancient Egyptian artists had incised these images onto the whitewashed walls, and remarkably, they were excellently preserved. Scientists have been aware of these mysterious chambers for well over a century. As far back as 1901 and 1902, a British archaeologist named Arthur Weigel stumbled upon a peculiar structure west of the River Nile. His team managed to catch a fleeting glimpse of the interior walls. Sadly, a portion of the roof collapsed, forcing them to abandon further exploration. The site was abandoned, but its location remained marked on maps. The initial assumption was that the boats had once rested on the bank of the mighty Nile. However, there was a flaw in this theory. Today, the river flows almost 7 miles west of Abydos. Further investigation of the surrounding terrain revealed that the Nile's course had remained largely unchanged throughout history. Furthermore, if the boats had simply drifted near a dock, they would likely be found in disarray. The 14 vessels at Abydos, however, were perfectly parallel to each other. Only one conclusion could be drawn. Someone had deliberately placed them there, expending considerable effort in the process. Each boat was large enough to accommodate up to 30 rowers, and they were fully functional vessels, not mere models. Yet, whether they ever actually sailed on any body of water in ancient Egypt remains a mystery. Regardless, the importance of this discovery cannot be overstated. Previously, archaeologists had only uncovered small-scale models of boats. Within King Tutankhamun's tomb alone, there were 35 such models. For a considerable time, these figurines were the only clues to the appearance of ancient Egyptian vessels. The design of the Abydos boats confirms that they were indeed the real deal, representing the earliest surviving examples of maritime technology. Imagine a time long before our own, when the mighty Nile River flowed through a landscape vastly different from today's world. Here, humans, driven by ingenuity and a thirst for exploration, embarked on their own voyages of discovery. They learned to harness the power of the waters, constructing the first boats. Simple yet effective, these early vessels were often crafted by painstakingly hollowing out massive tree trunks, a testament to the resourcefulness of our ancestors. Another method involved binding reeds together, creating buoyant rafts capable of navigating the river's currents. But near the ancient city of Abydos, something truly remarkable occurred. Here, boats were built with planks meticulously tied together, a pivotal innovation in shipbuilding. These vessels, constructed with such care and precision, must have been an awe-inspiring sight in their day. Timber, a precious commodity in a land dominated by desert, was highly valued. With no local sources of wood, cedar had to be imported from distant Lebanon, a privilege reserved for the most powerful figure in the land, the pharaoh. Around this ancient fleet, archaeologists made further discoveries that shed light on the era. They unearthed a mud brick structure, a place where Egyptians paid homage to the pharaoh. The dating of this structure coincided with that of the wooden boats, suggesting a strong connection. Moreover, the very same bricks used to construct this building were also used to encase the fleet, protecting it for millennia. At the time of their construction, the rooms housing these magnificent vessels were covered by a ceiling. It was this section that archaeologists stumbled upon in the early 20th century, a hidden treasure buried beneath the sands. Just as mummies and coffins were carefully entombed, these remarkable ships rested within splendid vaults, a testament to their importance. The exterior of these rooms was equally impressive. The outer walls were originally coated with a plaster of brilliant white limestone, reflecting the intense desert sunlight. Imagine the sight. A structure housing these boats, gleaming like a beacon, visible from miles away in the harsh Egyptian sun. This same technique was later employed by ancient Egyptian builders to cover the pyramids some 500 years later. Today, the surface of the pyramids appears rough and weathered, but it wasn't always so. When first constructed, they boasted a top layer of exquisitely polished white limestone. This created a smooth, radiant surface that shimmered in the sunlight. Instead of the stepped appearance we see today, the outer layer of the pyramids resembled a sleek ramp, adding to their grandeur. One final question remained for the archaeologists. Which pharaoh commissioned this fleet? The answer lay a mere mile from the site, where the tomb of a pharaoh from the 5th dynasty was discovered. This was the final resting place of King Senussit III. The timing and style of construction matched those of the chambers housing the boats, providing a crucial link. The circumstances surrounding the end of Senussit III's reign may explain why the boats ended up in the middle of the desert. It's believed that the pharaoh died in northern Egypt. His body was then transported down the Nile to Abydos in a grand procession of lavishly decorated boats. These vessels were later carefully lowered into the chambers near the pharaoh's tomb, a symbolic act deeply rooted in ancient Egyptian beliefs. Ships held a central role in their belief system. The supreme deity, Ra, journeyed across the sky during the day in the form of the sun. And at night, he sailed through the netherworld in a solar boat. The pharaoh, identifying himself with Ra, required boats in the afterlife to regenerate himself, ensuring the sun would rise again each day. This belief persisted for thousands of years, shaping their rituals and monuments. The more famous Pharaoh Khufu also possessed a ship, discovered in 1954, next to his pyramid at Giza. Although it was constructed some 4 centuries after the Abydos fleet, Khufu's ship was nearly twice as long, a testament to the evolving shipbuilding techniques of the time. The Great Pyramid of Giza and the tomb of King Tut are among the most celebrated archaeological finds in Egypt. But beneath the seemingly endless sands of the Sahara Desert, countless more secrets remain hidden, waiting to be uncovered. As recently as 2020, archaeologists unearthed a lost city, hailed as the most significant discovery since the tomb of King Tut in 1922. This is the city of Aten, a settlement dating back some 3,000 years. Historians anticipate that Aten will offer invaluable insights into the daily lives of ancient Egyptians. Renowned archaeologist and Egyptologist Zahi Hawass has declared the site a lost golden city, a treasure trove of information about a bygone era. Aten is situated approximately 300 meters south of Cairo, Egypt's modern capital, near the famed Valley of the Kings. The initial discoveries consisted of sections of mud brick walls stretching out in all directions. As the excavation progressed, complete rooms were unearthed, filled with tools and artifacts from everyday life. The research team uncovered a bakery, a residential neighborhood, and an administrative district, all dating back to a time when Egyptian civilization was at its zenith of wealth and power. The ancient Egyptians were also pioneers in metallurgy, being among the first to craft objects from iron. In 1911, scientists discovered a collection of iron beads near the village of El Girza in Lower Egypt. These are the oldest known iron artifacts, and their origin is truly extraordinary. Ancient artisans fashioned them from a piece of a meteorite. The 9 beads, once part of an elaborate necklace, are now blackened and corroded, a natural consequence of being over 5,000 years old. They are composed of an iron-nickel alloy, a clear indication of their extraterrestrial origin. Researchers were deeply impressed by the skill of the ancient jewelers who crafted these beads. Their craftsmanship is all the more remarkable, considering they were unaware of the beads' stellar origins, yet they managed to create exquisite jewelry from a material that literally fell from the sky. Let's journey back to ancient Egypt, where wonders and mysteries abound. Even the colossal Great Pyramid of Giza holds secrets yet to be fully understood. An international team of researchers embarked on a fascinating investigation, probing the pyramid's response to electromagnetic radio waves. Their findings were astonishing. The Great Pyramid possesses the remarkable ability to concentrate electromagnetic energy within its very structure. Imagine the energy swirling within its chambers, even beneath its base, where an unfinished underground chamber lies hidden. The key, it seems, lies in the properties of limestone, the very building block of this ancient wonder. But this isn't just an academic curiosity. This discovery holds potential for practical applications, perhaps revolutionizing the way solar cells and nanosensors function. The ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians continues to inspire awe, even in the realm of modern technology. Now picture yourself in 1898, amidst the dusty excavations of Saqqara, not far from the bustling city of Cairo. The air is thick with anticipation, the scent of sand and history filling your nostrils. You're channeling your inner Indiana Jones, dreaming of uncovering a discovery that will etch your name in the annals of archaeology. Gold, ancient manuscripts, perhaps a treasure map leading to a pharaoh's tomb. Wait, what's this? A small wooden bird, a seemingly insignificant toy, old and worn, but a toy nonetheless. Disappointment washes over you. But little do you know, Decades later, this unassuming artifact will spark a fierce debate. Could this Saqqara bird be evidence of ancient aviation? This enigmatic object, crafted from sycamore wood, boasts a wingspan of a mere 7 inches and weighs a scant 40 grams. A curious souvenir from Egypt, one might say. Over 2 millennia old, its appearance is rather simple, lacking intricate carvings of feathers or elaborate ornamentation. Yet, it possesses a distinct beak and eyes, giving it the appearance of a hawk, the sacred emblem of the deity Horus. However, it's the tail that truly sets this artifact apart. Squared off and strangely upright, it features a sunken area, hinting at a missing component. The debate rages on. What was its purpose? Humans are captivated by mysteries, and the Saqqara bird has fueled countless theories. Was it a ceremonial object, imbued with religious significance? Perhaps a simple toy for a privileged child? Or could it have been a boomerang, a popular plaything in ancient Egypt? The weather vane theory, however, has been largely dismissed due to the absence of any holes or markings for suspension, save for the one added by the Cairo Museum for display purposes. Nearly a century after its discovery, Egyptologist Dr. Khalil Messiah proposed a radical new interpretation. The Saqqara bird was a scale model of a monoplane. He theorized that it was originally equipped with a horizontal tailplane and that its wings were positioned at an angle conducive to generating aerodynamic lift, much like modern aircraft. Dr. Messiah further suggested that the practice of placing miniature models of technological innovations within tombs was common during that era. Did the ancient Egyptians truly invent the airplane in 200 BCE? Such a notion would certainly ruffle the feathers of the Wright brothers, credited with pioneering aviation in 1903. The only way to definitively answer this question is to test the Saqqara bird's aerodynamic capabilities. But alas, the Cairo Museum is unlikely to permit such an experiment with one of its prized possessions. Undeterred, glider designer Martin Gregory constructed a replica from balsa wood. His conclusion? Even with the addition of a tailplane, the model proved to be a rather poor flyer. Case closed? Perhaps not. The History Channel wasn't entirely convinced. They enlisted the expertise of an aerodynamics expert to build another replica, testing it under weather conditions mirroring those of ancient Egypt. The results were surprising. The expert was impressed by the little plane's abilities, suggesting that it possessed genuine flight potential. So, if the Pharaoh's engineers did indeed create a functional aircraft prototype, it would stand as a remarkable example of an out-of-place artifact, an object far ahead of its time in terms of technological advancement. The Saqqara bird isn't alone in this category. Consider the Antikythera mechanism, recovered from a shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901. This intricate bronze device, dating back to approximately 100 BCE, has been hailed as the world's first analog computer. Imagine the complexity of this device. It could predict the positions of the sun, moon, planets, and stars, track lunar phases, forecast upcoming solar eclipses, and even calculate the moon's velocity. The identity of its creators and its intended purpose remain shrouded in mystery, but its precision and sophistication are undeniable, placing it far beyond the technological capabilities of its era. Even the concept of the flushing toilet, a modern convenience we take for granted, has roots in the distant past. The first flushing toilets were... Forget what you think you know about modern conveniences. The idea of a flushing toilet wasn't some 20th century invention. Let's travel back thousands of years. Imagine the ancient Minoans on the island of Crete and the Indus Valley civilization. Remarkably, they both independently conceived this ingenious device around 4,000 years ago. The sophistication of their plumbing and sanitation systems was such that no significant improvements were made for another 2 millennia. Picture this. At the Palace of Knossos, an ancient Minoan lavatory was unearthed. It appears to have featured a wooden seat positioned above a tunnel. This tunnel cleverly channeled water from a rooftop reservoir down into an underground sewer system. Other designs relied on jugs of water for flushing. But understand, such luxury was reserved for the elite. If you were house hunting in those times, the presence of a flushing toilet was a clear indicator that you were in an upscale neighborhood. Now, automated doors might seem like a cutting-edge innovation from 1931, but the underlying principles are far older than you might think. We're talking about the 1st century CE. Heron of Alexandria, a brilliant mathematician and engineer, devised a hydraulic system to automatically open and close temple doors. Here's how it worked. A fire was lit to generate heat. Beneath the fire sat a brass pot partially filled with water. This pot was connected to containers that acted as weights. As the fire blazed, the water was forced into these containers, causing them to descend and pull on a series of ropes. However, don't imagine a supermarket door smoothly gliding open as you approach. Heron's door was a far cry from that. The opening process took hours, and there was no way to halt it once initiated. Consequently, these doors were only opened once a day, just before people entered the temple, adding an element of mystique to the temple ceremonies. Spooky, indeed. And what about batteries? Believe it or not, the first known battery may have been invented in Baghdad, roughly 2,000 years ago. In 1938, a German archaeologist discovered an oval-shaped clay jar. Even today, scientists remain uncertain about its precise purpose and the identity of its inventor. One compelling theory suggests it was used for electroplating objects with precious metals. When filled with a mild acid, such as vinegar, this Baghdad battery could produce around 1 volt of electricity. Another theory proposes it was simply a vessel for storing sacred scrolls. Fancy owning contact lenses designed by Leonardo da Vinci himself? In 1508, he envisioned a glass lens with a funnel on one side. The idea was to fill it with water and wear it to improve vision. Sounds rather uncomfortable, doesn't it? About a century later, French scientist René Descartes sought to refine the concept, aiming to have the cornea make direct contact with the lens. Hence, contact lenses. While this liquid-filled glass tube did enhance vision, sadly, blinking became an impossibility. Fast forward 2.5 centuries, and advancements in glass-making enabled scientists to create lenses that fit directly onto the eye, even allowing the wearer to blink. Progress. However, these early lenses were crafted from heavy-blown glass and restricted the eye's ability to breathe. Around 50 years later, contact lenses transitioned to plastic, becoming lighter, shatterproof, and scratch-resistant, though they still covered the entire eye. Then, in 1948, an English optical technician inadvertently sanded down a plastic lens and discovered that it could remain in place even when covering only the cornea. A breakthrough. Imagine yourself in 19th century London, needing to send a message to New York. It would take approximately 10 days for the message to arrive by ship. Therefore, when delivery times plummeted from days to mere hours in 1858, it was nothing short of a sensation. The first message was transmitted by Queen Victoria herself. This feat was made possible by the transatlantic telegraph cable laid beneath the ocean. Regrettably, this groundbreaking invention suffered a setback and only remained functional for a few weeks. It took years to restore it. We all recognize iconic symbols. The Statue of Liberty instantly evokes the USA. The Eiffel Tower embodies Paris. And this mask, it's undeniably Tutankhamun's, right? It may seem like historians have exhausted every detail of the King Tut story. But often, the most glaring details are overlooked. Take, for instance, the fact that this renowned mask was not originally crafted for him, nor was it even intended for him. Let's examine the mask more closely. Notice those holes? They're 4 earrings. It's not that they were opposed to jewelry, but in ancient Egypt, earrings were predominantly worn by high-status women or children. Now, you might argue, but Tutankhamun was a boy king, wasn't he? Indeed, he ascended the throne at the tender age of 9. Sadly, his reign was cut short as he died at a very young age. So, at 9 years old, he might imagine a scene. A team of archaeologists meticulously sifting through the sands of time. Their brushes reveal not just ordinary artifacts, but whispers from millennia past. Among their incredible finds were ancient coins, gleaming faintly under the desert sun. But that was just the beginning. They unearthed a partially mummified skeleton, a figure from over 6,000 years ago. Astonishingly, skin, tendons, and even strands of hair remained intact, offering a ghostly glimpse into a life lived long, long ago. And then, a discovery that truly stunned the world. A giant basket woven from plant fibers. This wasn't just any basket. It was a relic from over 10,000 years ago, predating the invention of ceramics by a millennium. Imagine that, a container holding up to 26 gallons, crafted by hands that lived in a world without pottery, a world we can barely comprehend. Speaking of treasures that capture the imagination, consider a seemingly insignificant piece of fabric, a fragment measuring less than an inch. Yet, this tiny scrap, approximately 3,800 years old, holds a secret of immense historical importance. It's not just the fabric itself, but the vibrant scarlet dye that colors it, a hue mentioned repeatedly in ancient religious texts. This is the oldest known evidence of fabric dyed with a pigment derived from insects, specifically scarlet worms. The intense red color wasn't merely aesthetic, it signified status and religious importance. Like royal blue and purple, scarlet was a highly valued color because the insects that produced it lived in oak trees and could only be harvested for a short period each year. Dyes like this were reserved for sacred fabrics, adorning the garments of priests and marking objects of profound religious significance. This fragment was discovered in 2016 during excavations in the aptly named Cave of Skulls, and while its exact purpose remains a mystery, experts believe it demonstrates that people knew how to dye wool fibers as far back as 3,800 years ago. It also suggests that the ancient textile industry was already utilizing animals around the same time that written language began to emerge. While fabrics dyed with this type of dye have been recorded in more recent periods, the sheer age of this particular fragment makes it truly exceptional. But the Earth holds other secrets too. Picture this. In 1980, scientists unearthed a seed, a tiny vessel of life that had slumbered for over 1,000 years. They nurtured it, coaxed it to sprout, and after 14 years of dedicated cultivation, it grew into a mysterious tree they named Sheba, standing approximately 10 feet tall. Later, they were stunned to discover that it might belong to an extinct lineage of trees that once flourished in the region. The seed dated back to a period between 993 and 1122 CE, and some believe that Sheba may even be a biblical tree, commonly associated with healing. Although the exact species remains unidentified because the tree hasn't yet flowered, scientists know that it belongs to the genus Caphora, a relative of famous African plants like the myrrh tree. But the story doesn't end there. Time has revealed something even more extraordinary. Sheba's leaves and resins are rich in compounds possessing medicinal, antioxidant, and even skin-soothing properties. This suggests that the tree may represent a forgotten lineage, its resin once prized for its medicinal value and mentioned in ancient texts. It offers us a tangible link to how ancient people understood and utilized botanical medicine. Now, let's journey to a different landscape. Imagine a vast, desolate desert in Niger. Before us lies not a dune set, but Jado, a very real desert city likely built by the nomadic Sao people. It's filled with ksars, fortified houses constructed from salt and clay, featuring giant walls and secret passages. Once a vital stop for trans-Saharan caravans, this remote location has become a haven for smugglers and bandits, rendering it off-limits since 2002. The origins of the ksars remain shrouded in mystery. No comprehensive archaeological studies have been conducted, leaving countless questions unanswered. Even today, the shifting sands both reveal and conceal parts of these ancient ruins, fueling local speculation about the secrets that may still lie hidden beneath the desert's surface. Speaking of connective tunnels, scientists were amazed by the discovery of extensive lava tubes in Saudi Arabia. These underground passages formed when molten lava cooled, creating natural pathways beneath the earth. Researchers theorize that ancient nomadic groups may have used these tunnels to survive the harsh desert climate. During excavations, archaeologists unearthed artifacts, rock art, and skeletal remains, offering glimpses into the lives of those who sought shelter within these subterranean spaces. The art and animal bones suggest that the tunnel dwellers were likely sheep and goat herders. The investigation continues as scientists strive to determine whether these groups lived in the tunnels for extended periods or simply used them as temporary refugees from the elements. Finally, let's turn our attention to an iconic structure that has stood for millennia, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Even this ancient wonder continues to guard its secrets. Using advanced scanning technology, scientists have identified two hidden structures beneath an ancient burial ground. The first is a shallow L-shaped formation, and below it lies a much larger space, potentially a final resting place or a hidden chamber. The smaller structure appears to have been deliberately filled with sand, while the deeper one might be an empty chamber. Experts believe that the two structures are connected, perhaps forming an entrance leading to a secret chamber. This discovery is significant because, imagine, if you will, the splendor and mystery of ancient Egypt, a land of pharaohs, gods, and elaborate rituals. We find ourselves focusing on one of its most iconic treasures, the golden mask of King Tut. But what if this symbol of royal power holds secrets we've only begun to unravel? Consider this. Might the celebrated mask of Tutankhamun be a repurposed artifact created not for the boy king, but for someone else entirely? At first glance, it seems improbable. However, scrutinizing the details reveals some intriguing anomalies. For instance, it's been suggested that the mask was originally intended for a child. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Except the circumstances of Tutankhamun's death suggest otherwise. No one anticipated his early demise at the tender age of 9. Therefore, no one would have been preparing a mask specifically for a child's burial. It's precisely this unexpected death that hints at the mask being the best available option when Tutankhamun passed away. Further clues support the notion that the mask was created in haste. Let's delve deeper. Although Tutankhamun's mummification allowed for some delay, his family and advisors were eager for him to reach the afterlife as swiftly as possible. Some experts even propose that the paint within the tomb was still wet when it was sealed. Yet, the mask itself is undeniably a masterpiece. It seems impossible that it was crafted in a rush. The sheer artistry of the mask far surpasses that of simpler cartonnage pieces. The famous mask of King Tut stands approximately 21 inches tall, embellished with precious stones, and features a golden beard weighing a substantial 5.5 pounds, bringing the total weight of the mask to 22.5 pounds. Now, a curious contradiction emerges. If it was initially a child's mask, how does one account for the beard? It's unlikely that a 9-year-old would sport such facial hair. Think about the proportions of a grown man's face versus a child's face. Fun fact, facial growth is mostly complete by the age of 16. So by 19, Tutankhamun would have undoubtedly possessed the face of an adult man. Can you imagine attempting to fit a relatively small child's mask onto a grown man? The thought is almost absurd, and surely no one would have allowed such a thing to happen. Let's discard the child theory. The second possibility, as you may recall, is that the mask originally belonged to a woman. This is where the beard becomes relevant. Some researchers believe the beard may have been a later addition. A fascinating theory suggests the mask was crafted for Nefertiti, who ultimately went without it. In this scenario, we potentially solve two mysteries at once. At first, this may sound like pure speculation. However, let's investigate further. Tutankhamun died around 1323 BCE, possibly from malaria. He also suffered from other health issues, including a broken leg, indicating he was not in prime physical condition. As for Nefertiti, we lack definitive information regarding her death. Furthermore, the location and timing of her burial remain unknown. The commonly accepted year of her death is around 1330 BCE. However, she may have lived longer, and the mask could have been intended and prepared for her. Alternatively, perhaps they simply retrieved her mask from her burial chamber. After all, they were family, or at least related. She was believed to be his stepmother, having married Akhenaten, who was likely Tutankhamun's father. However, some scientists dispute this lineage. These ancient Egyptian families can be quite perplexing to trace. I sense you may still be skeptical about Tutankhamun wearing a mask intended for a woman. Allow me to share another intriguing theory. Enter Howard Carter, the passionate archaeologist who unearthed Tutankhamun's tomb. Located in the Valley of the Kings outside Luxor, the tomb was remarkably intact, much to everyone's surprise. Upon entering, Carter noticed something peculiar. The chamber didn't quite feel like a pharaoh's burial chamber. While elegant, it possessed a vibe that suggested it was designed for a woman. Typically, Egyptian pharaohs were interred in larger tombs, and even more oddly, this one was oriented to the right of the entrance. This was unusual, as that orientation was typical of chambers used by Egyptian queens. Another red flag was that the chamber appeared to have been constructed in stages, and the approximately 2,000 artifacts within seemed hastily arranged. Even more curious, they appeared to have been intended for other royals. Carter made this discovery in 1922, but the reasons behind the tomb's peculiarities remained a mystery for nearly a century. Then, Nicholas Reeves proposed a possible solution. He suggested that Tutankhamun may not have been the tomb's original occupant. Instead, he proposed that the undisturbed resting place of the legendary Queen Nefertiti could be hidden behind the walls of the boy king's burial chamber. Reeves spent months studying high-resolution photographs, meticulously analyzing every pixel. Eventually, he focused on detailed scans revealing the texture of the tomb's walls beneath layers of paint. He identified what he believed to be outlines of two doorways that had been blocked and plastered over to conceal them. The more he examined them, the more convincing they appeared. Could it be a tomb within a tomb? Reeves theorized there was a hidden store. Imagine stepping into the shadows of King Tut's tomb, a place shrouded in mystery. There, behind the western wall of the king's burial chamber, lies a space that some believed might be the entrance to a larger network of hidden rooms. The idea was tantalizing, promising untold secrets of the ancient world. But let's not get carried away just yet. The highly publicized theory, suggesting that Queen Nefertiti might be resting in a secret chamber adjacent to Tutankhamun's tomb, has sadly been largely debunked. To investigate the tantalizing possibility, experts employed ground-penetrating radar, a technology capable of peering beneath the surface to reveal what lies unseen. The hope was that these scans would expose hidden gaps, telltale signs of undiscovered chambers. Initially, in 2015, one expert even believed he had indeed found such a room. The excitement was palpable. Alas, the moment of glory was fleeting. After a year of meticulous re-examination and rigorous double-checking, the truth emerged. There were no hidden doorways, no secret passages leading to further royal burials. The dream of finding Nefertiti alongside her stepson, Tutankhamun, faded. Speaking of legendary Egyptian women, Nefertiti isn't the only one whose final resting place remains an enigma. Consider the captivating tale of Cleopatra. Legend has it that she famously declared, "No man will ever find my tomb." An audacious statement, fitting for a queen who defied expectations at every turn. And perhaps there's a grain of truth to it. After all, the individual who has come closest to unraveling the mystery of her burial is, indeed, a woman. Millennia have passed since Cleopatra's reign, yet the quest to locate her tomb continues. Archaeologist Kathleen Martinez believes she may have finally cracked the code. For nearly 2 decades, she has relentlessly pursued the elusive tomb of Cleopatra, and recently she unearthed a remarkable bust that she believes represents the iconic queen. However, not everyone shares her conviction. Some experts contend that the bust simply doesn't resemble Cleopatra. The debate rages on, fueled by speculation and differing interpretations of the evidence. Alongside this intriguing marble statue, Martinez's team also discovered a treasure trove of 337 coins. These coins, less controversially, bear the likeness of Cleopatra, providing valuable insights into her image and reign. But the critical piece of evidence, definitive proof of the tomb's location, remains elusive. There's no questioning the existence of the small bust itself. Carved from pristine white marble, it fits snugly in the palm of one's hand and depicts a woman adorned with a royal crown. According to a translated statement from the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, The central question is the identity of the woman portrayed. While Martinez firmly believes the statue represents Queen Cleopatra, many other archaeologists disagree. They argue that the facial features simply don't align with known depictions of the queen, suggesting it likely portrays a princess or another member of the royal family. But allow me to break the spell for a moment. The famous quote, "No man will ever find my tomb," might be misinterpreted. Even if Cleopatra uttered those words, it is plausible that she meant no living soul, not specifically excluding men. Perhaps it was a statement about the secrecy and protection of her final resting place, regardless of gender. Or perhaps it's simply a captivating legend, a testament to the enduring mystique of Cleopatra. Now, let us turn our attention to a rather gruesome discovery in Egypt. Are you ready for this? Imagine 16 human hands, carefully buried in 4 eerie pits. At first glance, they didn't quite resemble human hands, appearing abnormally large. But upon closer inspection, there was no doubt they were human hands. The unsettling part? They were all right hands. Not a single left hand was found. This macabre discovery points to the practice of an ancient, dark ritual. Ancient Egyptian art and tales speak of a ceremony where warriors would present the right hand of their vanquished adversaries as proof of victory, in exchange for gold and recognition. The Egyptians held a profound belief in the afterlife. Cutting off someone's hand was believed to sever their power for eternity, guaranteeing their defeat even beyond the realm of the living. This was a powerful incentive for the victorious party. The conflict in question was between the Egyptians and the Hyksos, a people who inhabited what was then known as Canaan. Egypt has consistently been at the epicenter of remarkable historical discoveries. Consider, for example, an ancient papyrus that was unearthed some time ago. If fully stretched out, this remarkable document would be slightly taller than the world's smallest skyscraper, located in Wichita Falls, Texas. Before the advent of smartphones and note-taking apps, people relied on materials like this, crafted from the medulla of the papyrus plant. Around 2,000 years ago, ancient Egyptians inscribed upon it what resembles a book, detailing their literary traditions and visions of the afterlife. It's considered one of the most important texts from ancient Egypt, a testament to their rich culture and beliefs, and it remains available in bookstores to this day. This ancient manuscript was recovered from a chamber situated just south of the Pyramid of Djoser, located in Saqqara. And yes, Djoser's pyramid is actually the oldest pyramid in Egypt, predating the more famous Giza pyramids. Recently, the Saqqara site was abuzz with excitement as archaeologists unearthed what they believed to be one of Egypt's oldest complete mummies. The remarkably well-preserved mummy is believed to be that of a wealthy and influential man. He was discovered in a deep shaft, meticulously covered in layers of gold leaf. Numerous symbols indicate his high status and wealth, including the elaborate band adorning his head, the bracelet on his chest, and the fact that he was embalmed wearing a tunic, a privilege reserved for Egypt's elite. But the most exciting part of the discovery is yet to come. Imagine stepping back over 4 millennia. Here, amidst the shifting sands of ancient Egypt, a monumental discovery awaited. In 2008, archaeologists unearthed what remained of a lost pyramid. The relentless passage of 4,300 years had taken its toll, leaving only the base as a ghostly reminder of its former glory. But what a sight it was! This was no ordinary structure. It was a place of sacred rituals. Picture this. High priests, draped in ceremonial robes, solemnly carrying the mummified remains of revered bulls around the pyramid's perimeter. These weren't just any bulls. They were Apis bulls, believed to be earthly incarnations of the deity of Memphis, linked to ancient fertility rites. The selection process was meticulous. Only a bull entirely black, save for a single perfect white mark between its horns, would suffice. These chosen animals were venerated by local priests throughout their lives. Upon their death, they were mummified with the utmost care and laid to rest in elaborate underground galleries. The missing pyramid itself had vanished from sight sometime in the 1800s. A German archaeologist rediscovered it in the village of Saqqara, initially dubbing it the Headless Pyramid. But soon, the desert reclaimed its treasure, burying the site once more. Sporadic excavations occurred between the 19th and 20th centuries, but they lacked a systematic approach. Therefore, the recent unearthing of the pyramid's base, after removing a 25-foot-high mound of sand, sent ripples of excitement through the archaeological community. But the discoveries didn't end there. American archaeologists are currently excavating a vast cemetery, potentially containing over 1 million mummified bodies. To date, they've unearthed around 1,700 mummies. Unlike the regal mummies of pharaohs and nobles, these were the remains of common people, ordinary Egyptians who lived roughly 1,500 years ago during the Roman and Byzantine rule. This necropolis is known by a haunting name, the Way of the Water Buffalo. Beyond bulls and buffaloes, the ancient Egyptians held other animals in high esteem. Baboons, for example. In the early 20th century, a site overflowing with mummified baboons was discovered in the aptly named Valley of the Monkeys. Mummification was a sign of importance, linking the animal to specific deities. Jackals were associated with Anubis, the god of the afterlife, and cats with Bastet, the feline goddess. Baboons were strongly linked to Thoth, the god of wisdom and advisor to Ra, one of Egypt's supreme deities. Sadly, the archaeologists who examined these baboon mummies uncovered a darker truth. The baboons appeared to have been confined indoors, deprived of sunlight, leading to severe vitamin D deficiencies and malnutrition. Perhaps Thoth himself was displeased with their treatment, and the surprises keep coming. In another remarkable find, archaeologists unearthed human mummies with golden tongues. The ancient Egyptians believed these golden tongues would enable the deceased to speak in the afterlife. These mummies were interred in wooden coffins alongside necklaces, pottery, and golden artifacts shaped like lotus flowers and scarab beetles. Recently, a new temple dedicated to Zeus Cassios was discovered. This deity represented a fusion of Zeus, the mighty Greek god of the sky, and Mount Cassios. During excavations in the Sinai Peninsula, archaeologists noticed 2 pink granite columns emerging from the sand. These columns are believed to have formed the temple's front gate, which collapsed during an ancient earthquake. But not all deities were stern and imposing. A golden ring, unearthed in a city south of Cairo, depicts Bes, the god of fun. Bes was typically portrayed as a cheerful, chubby dwarf. In contrast to modern tattoos, which often serve purely aesthetic purposes, tattoos in ancient Egypt, particularly among women, were believed to offer protection during childbirth. Scientists have discovered mummies in the Nile region, adorned with tattoos. Imagine peering into the distant past, not just thousands, but millions of years ago. We're not looking at dinosaurs this time, but at the ingenuity of early humans. Specifically, the ancient Egyptians. Their world was one of pharaohs, pyramids, and gods, but also of surprising innovation. Consider the remarkable discovery of preserved tattoos on female mummies. Skin, as we know, decomposes rapidly, making such finds incredibly rare. Yet, on the lower backs of 2 women, simple but evocative drawings survived the millennia. Among them was a familiar figure, the chubby dwarf god, Bes. More than just a deity, Bes served as a protector of women during childbirth, a vital role in ancient Egyptian society. Now, picture this: robots in ancient Egypt. It sounds like science fiction, but the reality is intriguingly close. The Egyptians were masters of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering. Within their repertoire of skills, they managed to create something truly eccentric, an automated deity. Some scientists have dubbed this creation Hathor. For years, a wooden statue of Hathor resided in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, its secret unnoticed. Then, with the aid of modern technology, an X-ray machine, specialists uncovered a hidden mechanical operating system within the statue. A pulley-like axis extending from Hathor's shoulder to her left leg controlled the movement. As the system rotated, the statue raised and lowered her hand in what could be interpreted as a gesture of blessing. We can almost hear the echoes of ancient prayers. "Hey, pick me! Pick me! I got my hand up here!" These ancient Egyptians, they were truly extraordinary. The earth holds countless secrets etched in stone and clay, whispers from civilizations long past. Imagine a world teeming with mysteries, where ancient messages lie dormant, waiting for a key to unlock their meaning. Consider, for example, the enigma of the Bashplemi tablet. This peculiar artifact, unearthed from the depths of a Georgia lake, presents an indecipherable puzzle. Its surface is adorned with symbols, a complex script that defies all attempts at translation. Even with the power of modern technology, experts remain baffled. The tablet, roughly the size of a modern book, bears approximately 60 symbols, meticulously carved into its tough stone surface. Yet, a staggering 39 of these symbols elude identification within any known language. Some bear a resemblance to ancient scripts from the Middle East, India, and even Egypt, but none provide a definitive match. Adding to the complexity, a fragment of the tablet is missing, leaving a crucial piece of the puzzle lost forever. To ascertain its authenticity, scientists subjected the tablet to rigorous examination. Their analysis confirmed its composition: vesicular basalt, an exceptionally durable local stone. The precision and skill evident in the carving suggest a highly accomplished artisan. Based on comparisons with similar archaeological discoveries, experts estimate the tablet's age to be thousands of years, potentially dating back to the late Bronze Age or the early Iron Age. The repetition of certain symbols hints at a numerical system, perhaps representing an inventory, a chronicle of battles, or even offerings presented to the gods. Until the code is cracked, the Bashplemi tablet will remain an enduring enigma, a silent testament to a forgotten past. Then there's the Phaistos disc, another artifact that continues to perplex researchers. This enigmatic object, a clay disc measuring approximately 6 inches in diameter, was discovered in 1908 on the island of Crete. Its surface is covered in a spiral arrangement of unique symbols, the meaning of which has yet to be fully deciphered. The disc features a total of 241 symbols, imprinted on both sides, depicting a range of subjects from human figures and animals to tools and plants. Numerous theories have been proposed to explain the disc's purpose and the meaning of its symbols. Some scholars believe it represents an early form of the Greek language. Others suggest it is a religious text, perhaps a prayer or a hymn. Still others speculate that it could be a letter from a king in Anatolia to a Greek ruler. The race is on to unlock the secrets held within this ancient artifact. Now, let's turn our attention to Egypt, where a remarkable discovery was made near Alexandria. During excavations at a medieval site, a team of French archaeologists unearthed a marble head, estimated to be over 2,000 years old. The head appears to depict an elderly man, possibly in ill health. This statue dates back to the final Egyptian dynasty, before Egypt's incorporation into the Roman Empire. The location of the discovery, near Alexandria, is historically linked to figures such as Cleopatra and Mark Antony. For archaeologists, even the smallest finds at this site hold immense significance, offering glimpses into a pivotal period in history. Moving further back in time to Tanzania, we find evidence of our distant ancestors. Here at Laetoli, scientists have discovered a series of footprints belonging to Australopithecus afarensis, the same species as the famous Lucy. These footprints, remarkably preserved in volcanic ash, are over 3 million years old. The trail stretches for an impressive 88 feet and contains approximately 70 individual footprints left by a group of early humans as they traversed the wet ash. What's truly remarkable is that these early humans walked upright, on 2 feet, much like modern humans. The close spacing of the footprints suggests that they possessed shorter legs and a shorter stride than we do today. These footprints provide invaluable insight into the evolution of bipedalism, a defining characteristic of the human lineage. In another fascinating discovery, archaeologists exploring an ancient Egyptian temple uncovered a unique shrine dedicated to falcons and 2 enigmatic deities. One deity was depicted with the head of a falcon, while the other wore a crown adorned with a sun disk and cow horns. However, the most perplexing element of the shrine was an inscription that ominously declared, "It is improper to boil a head in here." At the heart of the shrine, the researchers found 15 headless falcons, meticulously arranged on a pedestal, presumably as offerings to the falcon-headed deity. One theory suggests that the birds were first boiled, perhaps to facilitate the removal of their feathers before being placed within the shrine, in accordance with the strange prohibition carved into stone. Nearby, archaeologists also discovered a 13-inch iron harpoon. Its precise purpose remains unclear, although the shrine also contained the remains of fish, mammals, and bird eggs, indicating that ritualistic feasting may have been part of the shrine's ceremonies. Speaking of ancient Egypt, consider the story of Hathor. This name, bestowed by scientists, is inspired by the ancient Egyptian deity of motherhood, music, and dance. The object in question is a wooden statue housed within the Metropolitan Museum of Art. For years, it was considered simply a beautiful artifact. However, a surprising discovery was made when researchers subjected the statue to X-ray analysis. The scans revealed a complex mechanical operating system hidden within the statue's structure, featuring pulleys and axles connecting the shoulder to the left leg. When activated, this system would have allowed the statue's hand to be raised and lowered, a remarkable feat of engineering for its time. Created during Egypt's Middle Kingdom around 1800 BCE, the statue's advanced design has drawn comparisons to 19th century automata. It is believed that the statue was used in religious ceremonies, symbolizing Hathor's role. Imagine traveling back in time, not millions of years, but just a few millennia, to a land that would one day be known as Kuwait. Here, in the northern reaches of this ancient land, a remarkable discovery has been made. A Kuwaiti-Polish archaeological team has unearthed a statue, a relic from a forgotten age, dating back 7,500 years. Before us stands a figure of mystery. The statue is defined by its elongated skull, a feature that immediately captures our attention. It is a face devoid of a mouth, with narrow, piercing eyes and a nose flattened as if by the weight of centuries. This striking visage is believed to be an Obadian figurine, named after the Greek word for snake, a testament to its enigmatic form. This artifact was likely crafted by the Ubaid culture, a civilization renowned for their mastery of pottery. But what was its purpose? What role did this strange statue play in the lives of these ancient people? While the true meaning remains shrouded in the mists of time, it's plausible that it was linked to rituals or symbolic practices. Some scientists speculate that these figurines, often found in homes or final resting places, were deeply intertwined with the cultural beliefs of the Ubaid people. Let's turn our gaze westward, across continents and oceans, to the arid deserts of Peru. Here, another enigma awaits us: elongated skulls. Researchers have unearthed 5 ancient skeletons, 2 of which possess skulls that are unnaturally elongated. While head shaping was a common practice in many ancient cultures, these particular skulls defy simple explanation. Local legends speak of the so-called Gentiles, a mysterious race said to have been banished underground by powerful deities. Could these skulls be remnants of this forgotten people? Some believe so. Others propose a more scientific explanation: a genetic anomaly. This theory gained traction with the discovery of an infant skull, far too large to have been artificially shaped. The mystery deepens. Now, prepare to be amazed. Beneath the sands of Egypt, shrouded in secrecy for millennia, lies a lost city, hidden beneath the very pyramids themselves. And it's not just a small settlement, but a sprawling metropolis, larger than any structure you might imagine. Underground chambers, winding passageways, and towering vertical structures, a subterranean labyrinth of untold secrets. Scientists are only just beginning to grasp its true extent and purpose. Our journey begins with Italian and Scottish scientists studying the Pyramid of Khafra. It was here that they stumbled upon something extraordinary: what appeared to be secret tunnels beneath 3 of the pyramids. This discovery could rewrite our understanding of ancient Egypt. The expedition, known as the Khafra Project, was spearheaded by Corrado Malanga from Pisa, Italy, and Filippo Bondi from the University of Strathclyde, Scotland. Their primary focus was the exploration of Khafra's pyramid, the second largest on the Giza plateau. What they unearthed was a massive structure, a complex network of chambers and passages lying deep beneath the pyramid. Could this be an ancient Egyptian underground city? After careful analysis of the collected data, the experts came to a startling conclusion. 8 large vertical structures, possibly wells or shafts, lie hidden beneath the surface. These shafts extend a staggering 6,500 feet across the desert floor. To grasp the sheer scale, imagine placing 2.5 Burj Khalifas, the world's tallest building, end to end. That's the magnitude of this underground network. Furthermore, these shafts plunge nearly 2,000 feet into the earth. To put that into perspective, some of the deepest underground train stations in the world are located at a mere 380 feet below the surface. These cylindrical shafts are encircled by spiral pathways, reminiscent of an old Gothic castle, leading to 2 enormous, strangely shaped chambers. Are these cubes or bowls? Each chamber spans over 260 feet. While we now know of their existence, the original purpose of these structures remains a mystery. But the revelations don't end there. The team is almost certain that similar access points can be found beneath all 3 pyramids. Imagine a hidden system of underground tunnels, chambers, and passages linking these colossal monuments. Even deeper, some 4,000 feet below the surface, there may be even more unknown structures awaiting discovery. According to some members of the research team, these hidden structures near the Giza pyramids could align with the legendary halls of Amenti. In ancient Egyptian mythology, this is a place where souls are believed to arrive as they approach the end of their earthly journey. Here, they undergo a 3-day-long trial, confronting their greatest fears. But how did scientists even discover these hidden spaces? The answer lies in cutting-edge technology. Researchers employed 2 satellites positioned 420 miles above the Earth to send radar signals to the Giza plateau. These signals generated detailed images, which were then compiled into a 3D model of the underground layout, revealing the presence of the newly detected shafts. Using synthetic aperture radar, or SAR technology, a type of radar capable of penetrating stone, the team also identified 5 small, room-like structures hidden deep within the pyramid. One of these chambers contained a sarcophagus, once believed to be the tomb of Pharaoh Khafra. However, scientists now believe this was a misidentification. The true burial site likely lies elsewhere. In any case, these 5 hidden rooms were completely unknown before these scans. They appear to be arranged in the center of the pyramid and are connected to underground pathways that lead somewhere below the structure. Some believe these tunnels could lead to even more hidden chambers and wells, some of which may be around 4,500 years old. The mysteries of ancient Egypt continue to unfold before our eyes. Imagine traveling back in time to a land shrouded in mystery, where the sands of Egypt whisper secrets of a forgotten past. Recent discoveries are shaking the very foundations of what we thought we knew about this ancient civilization. Could there be an entire city, a sprawling metropolis, hidden beneath the iconic Giza pyramids? Preliminary data hints at a vast, interconnected network of underground chambers, far more extensive than just a few isolated rooms. Imagine hollowed-out sections, spiraling pathways plunging deep into the earth. These images, still being refined, suggest a subterranean world, a hidden city lying in wait beneath the sands. But not everyone is convinced. Skepticism lingers, fueled by the lack of peer-reviewed verification. Some archaeologists and radar experts question the validity of these claims, suggesting that the technology used may not be advanced enough to produce such detailed imagery. They propose that the smaller chambers near the surface could be natural formations, remnants of a time when the area held sacred significance, even before the pyramids rose to dominate the skyline. Some even dismiss the use of radar methods altogether, deeming them scientifically unproven and unreliable. Yet, the discovery has ignited a spark, rekindling discussions about ancient Egyptian myths and the possibility of hidden texts lying dormant beneath the Giza pyramids. The layout of these newly detected chambers bears a striking resemblance to mythological accounts of the Hall of Records, a legendary chamber said to hold the accumulated wisdom of early Egypt. If confirmed, these findings could fundamentally alter our understanding of Egypt's sacred topography. This lost city, buried beneath the pyramids, could provide tangible evidence of previously unknown underground structures. The Khafra project is eager to begin excavations to unearth the truth hidden beneath the sands. But obtaining approval from Egyptian authorities is a formidable challenge. The discoveries must first undergo rigorous peer review before being accepted by the academic community. This recent archaeological revelation follows closely on the heels of another intriguing discovery: a peculiar structure beneath the Royal Giza Cemetery, which researchers believe is unnatural in origin. Using remote sensing techniques, archaeologists have uncovered a mysterious L-shaped structure buried beneath the Western Cemetery of Giza, a place known to house the tombs of royal family members and high-ranking officials. Many of the tombs in this cemetery feature above-ground mastabas, rectangular structures made of stone or mud brick with flat roofs. However, in the center of the cemetery, there is an area devoid of any above-ground structures. To explore this uncharted territory, a team employed electrical resistivity tomography, ERT, and ground-penetrating radar, GPR. ERT works by sending electrical currents into the ground and measuring the resistance, allowing researchers to detect buried remains. GPR, on the other hand, sends radar waves into the ground, mapping structures based on the radar's return signal. The team discovered an anomaly approximately 6.5 feet beneath the surface. It appeared to be an L-shaped structure, measuring at least 33 feet in length. The readings indicated that the structure had been backfilled with sand after its construction, leading the team to hypothesize that it could be a mixture of sand and gravel, or perhaps even an air void. This anomaly was classified as a highly resistive structure, suggesting that it was not a natural formation. Motoyuki Sato, the study's lead author and a professor at Tohoku University in Japan, asserts that the structure's sharp shape indicates that it is not a natural occurrence. And the mysteries don't stop there. Historians have long believed that the pyramids of ancient Egypt were primarily built for royals and high-status individuals, those who possessed the wealth and power to commission such monumental structures. However, new research from the archaeological site of Tombos, located in modern-day Sudan, challenges this long-held assumption. It appears that the pyramids of Tombos may have served as burial sites for low-status workers, as well as elites. The hard-working members of ancient communities may have found their final resting place within some of the most visible monuments, including the pyramids themselves. Situated along the Nile River in the ancient region of Nubia, Tombos became part of Egypt after its conquest of the area around 1400 BCE. Egypt established the site to solidify its colonial control. Workers at Tombos constructed pyramids, but these were far more modest in scale than the famed pyramids of Giza. The research team reanalyzed 110 human skeletons from Tombos, which were originally studied in 2012. In particular, they examined. Imagine, if you will, the meticulous work of paleontologists, piecing together the story of lives lived long ago. Consider the study of bones, not just as static objects, but as records of a life of labor. Pay close attention to the areas where tendons and ligaments once anchored themselves to the bone itself. These are the emphatic points, the keys to unlocking secrets of physical exertion. Such detailed analysis offers incredible insights into the physical demands placed upon an individual during their lifetime. When someone engaged in strenuous physical labor, their bones often develop distinctive crests and ridges at these crucial attachment points. This is a direct result of the constant stress exerted on the tendons and ligaments. Now, some skeletons reveal minimal changes in these emphatic areas, suggesting that these individuals likely belong to the upper echelons of society, perhaps those spared from manual labor. However, other skeletons present a stark contrast, displaying far more pronounced changes, indicators of a life dedicated to toil, belonging to the lower working classes. This revelation has the potential to completely overturn our established understanding of pyramid burials. It challenges the long-held belief that only the elite were granted the privilege of being entombed within these monumental structures, under the assumption that the pyramids were exclusively designed for the upper class. This new research strongly suggests that lower-class workers may have also found their final resting place within these magnificent structures, a testament to their contribution to the civilization. Now, shift your focus to the realm of the invisible, to X-rays, a form of radiation imperceptible to the human eye, yet capable of penetrating our bodies and other objects. These rays hold immense importance in the field of medicine, allowing doctors to peer inside our bodies without resorting to invasive surgical procedures. Let's delve into the mechanics of X-rays. They are a type of electromagnetic radiation, akin to light or radio waves, but with significantly higher energy. This heightened energy enables them to traverse objects that light simply cannot penetrate. Picture a powerful flashlight. If you attempt to shine it through a solid wall, the light will be stopped because the wall is too dense. However, X-rays possess the energy needed to pass through such barriers, including our own bodies. The discovery of X-rays was a serendipitous event that occurred in the late 19th century. A scientist, engrossed in experiments with cathode rays, another form of radiation, made an unexpected observation. He noticed that a fluorescent screen in his laboratory began to glow, despite not being directly exposed to the cathode rays. He deduced that an invisible force was causing this fluorescence, and, due to its unknown nature, he named it X-ray, using the mathematical symbol for the unknown. His continued experimentation with X-rays revealed their remarkable ability to penetrate various objects, including flesh and bone, while being blocked by denser materials like metal. He also discovered that X-rays could create images on photographic plates, much like a camera captures pictures. The process is fascinating. Imagine standing before a bright light, holding your hand in front of your face. Your hand obstructs the light, preventing you from seeing through it. However, if you place a sheet of tissue paper in front of your hand, some light will pass through, allowing you to discern the outline of your hand. X-rays operate on a similar principle. When a doctor needs to take an X-ray of a specific part of your body, they will instruct you to stand or lie down next to the X-ray machine. This machine is equipped with a special plate designed to capture the image. Imagine the doctor wants to examine your arm. They will position the X-ray plate on one side of your arm and the machine on the other. The machine then emits a controlled burst of X-rays that pass through your arm. Remember the tissue paper analogy? In this case, some of the X-rays will pass through your arm, while others will be absorbed or blocked by denser tissues like bone. The plate captures the X-rays that successfully pass through your arm, creating an image that reveals the bones and other structures within your body, allowing the doctor to identify any potential problems or injuries. You might wonder why X-rays can penetrate some materials, but not others. The answer lies in the density and composition of the objects. Denser materials, such as bone, absorb more X-rays, causing them to appear white in the image. Therefore, when you view an X-ray, your bones are depicted as white shapes. Conversely, less dense tissues like muscles and organs allow more X-rays to pass through, resulting in gray shadows in the image. But what if there existed a completely new method of peering inside objects without relying on X-rays? I'm not talking about some sort of mystical ability. Settle in as I explain the concept of muography. This remarkable scientific technique grants us the ability to see inside objects, even beneath the Earth's surface, by harnessing a unique type of particle known as a muon. These elementary particles bear a striking resemblance to electrons, but are significantly heavier. They originate high in the Earth's atmosphere when cosmic rays, high-energy particles hurtling from space, collide with air molecules. Muons possess a unique property. They can penetrate various materials. They can traverse rock, soil, and even buildings. Scientists recognized this potential in the 1950s while studying cosmic rays, noticing that, imagine for a moment that certain subatomic particles possess the uncanny ability to slip through solid objects. These are muons, and they're constantly bombarding our planet. In the 1960s, scientists realized they could harness these elusive particles to see through things. Muon detectors, specialized devices, became the tools of this new science. These detectors, often housed deep underground or within heavily shielded laboratories, are designed to filter out other forms of radiation, focusing solely on the faint traces left by passing muons. So, how does this muography actually work? Envision a colossal structure, perhaps a pyramid piercing the desert sky, a mountain range dominating the horizon, or even an ancient statue holding secrets within its stone. We want to peer inside, to understand its hidden architecture without causing any damage. The process begins with placing muon detectors around the object of interest. These detectors are incredibly sensitive able to register the passage of even a single muon. As each particle streaks through the detector, it leaves a faint signature, a ghostly footprint in the data. By collecting data from multiple detectors strategically positioned, scientists can begin to reconstruct the paths of countless muons as they pass through the object. Here's where the magic happens. Our atmosphere acts as a natural muon filter. The denser and more massive an object is, the more muons it will absorb or deflect. Think of it this way. A towering mountain range will block significantly more muons than a hollow, empty crate. This subtle difference in the number of muons reaching the detectors provides invaluable information about the internal composition of the object. Sophisticated computer algorithms and mathematical techniques then come into play. Scientists feed the collected data into these programs, which analyze the muon trajectories and create detailed density maps. These maps reveal the hidden architecture of the object, highlighting areas of high density and exposing internal voids. It's akin to creating a three-dimensional X-ray, allowing us to see what lies beneath the surface. The principle is similar to understanding shape through shadows. Imagine holding your hand between a light source and a wall. The shadow reveals the outline of your hand, even though you can't directly see its palm. Mography works on a similar principle, using the shadows cast by muons to reveal the hidden structures within. This remarkable technique has been deployed to explore a diverse range of objects. Scientists have peered into the fiery hearts of volcanoes, mapped the internal structures of mountains, and even investigated the hidden layers of the Earth's crust. And, most famously, mography has been used to unlock secrets within the Great Pyramid of Giza. After centuries of exploration, after countless tomb raiders seeking hidden riches, scientists using mography made a stunning discovery, a vast, previously unknown chamber. They dubbed it simply the Big Void. Perhaps not the most imaginative name, but the discovery itself was breathtaking. To ensure the accuracy of their findings, scientists employed 3 distinct muon detection techniques, leaving no doubt that a significant void existed within the heart of the grandest pyramid ever built. The announcement of this discovery sent ripples of excitement throughout the world. Egyptian authorities, understandably eager to learn more, deployed an endoscope camera to investigate further. The camera snaked its way through a small opening beneath the pyramid's entrance, revealing a long, narrow corridor. The corridor featured a distinctive chevron ceiling, a design element that may have served a structural purpose. Another team of scientists took another shot at scanning this newfound void. According to them, the Great Pyramid of Giza is a pioneer in the pyramid game. It used a technique called chevron to cover internal structures and keep them from collapsing. But what was the purpose of this corridor and the massive void it led to? Theories abound. One suggests that the corridor was designed to relieve pressure within the pyramid structure, preventing catastrophic collapse. Another proposes that the void is a remnant of the pyramid's construction, perhaps an internal ramp used to move massive stone blocks into place, later abandoned or loosely filled with rubble. Still, other researchers speculate that the void may conceal a hidden burial chamber waiting to be discovered. They suggest that the pyramid's construction was not always rigidly planned, and that builders may have adapted their designs on the fly. As construction progressed, they may have realized that certain chambers were unable to bear the immense weight of a sarcophagus. To compensate, they improvised, creating new chambers and corridors as needed. Imagine the scene on October 30th, 1759. The earth began to tremble violently. Across the Middle East, people were ripped from their sleep as a powerful earthquake struck. Cracks spiderwebbed across walls, roofs groaned and threatened to collapse. Panic erupted as residents poured into the streets, seeking open ground. But the tremors continued, strong enough to knock people off their feet. A month later, an even more devastating earthquake struck. Trees snapped like twigs, buildings crumbled into dust, and deep fissures opened in the earth. The cataclysmic event lasted for a terrifying 2 minutes. Oases. Imagine a world rocked by the fury of the earth. Earthquakes, with their terrifying power, leveled entire settlements, carving new landscapes as roads and cities crumbled into dust. Yet amidst this devastation, some structures defied the odds. Behold Baalbek, where ancient buildings stood firm against the tremors. Some scholars attribute this majestic and enigmatic site to the Roman Empire, but this theory is hotly contested by many researchers. Regardless of its true origins, the city remains one of humanity's most significant archaeological mysteries. The crown jewel of Baalbek is undoubtedly the Temple of Jupiter. Picture it. The Romans, believing Jupiter to be the master of lightning and thunder, erected this colossal edifice in his honor. The temple resembled a vast platform supported by a forest of 54 towering columns, upon which rested a massive roof. Today, only 6 of these columns remain standing, each a staggering 70 feet tall. Each column is ingeniously constructed from 3 sections, resembling colossal pencils, their cores reinforced with lead, giving them exceptional strength. Each of these stone segments weighed an astounding 80 tons, the equivalent of 35 Ford Explorer SUVs. Consider the Great Pyramid of Giza, a testament to ancient engineering. Yet when placed beside the blocks of Baalbek, it appears almost insignificant. The foundation beneath the Temple of Jupiter, remarkably preserved, reveals a construction of approximately 25 monolithic stones, each weighing a colossal 450 tons. That's nearly 4 times the weight of the blocks used in the Egyptian pyramids. But the builders of Baalbek weren't content with merely impressive. 3 more gargantuan limestone blocks lie within the foundation, each tipping the scales at a mind-boggling 800 tons. More than twice the weight of a Boeing 747 jumbo jet. Imagine the sheer effort required to carve such immense forms from solid rock. And then, the monumental task of transporting them to the construction site and hoisting them to such dizzying heights. Replicating this feat today would be a logistical nightmare, even with the aid of modern equipment. The builders of Baalbek, however, possessed no trucks, no cranes, no circular saws, no electricity. How, then, did they achieve this seemingly impossible task? Scientists propose a system of ropes, winches, and levers, all meticulously crafted from wood. About 3,000 feet from the temple ruins lies a quarry. Archaeologists believe this to be the source of the temple's stones. Here, they discovered a colossal limestone block, seemingly too large even for Baalbek itself. This monolith, dubbed the Stone of the South, measures 65 feet in length and 13 feet in width. The ancient builders, for reasons unknown, never fully detached it from its bedrock. An Austrian team of scientists estimated its weight at over 1,000 tons, equivalent to 3 Boeing aircraft or 160 African elephants. But the quarry held yet another surprise. A second monolith, estimated to weigh a staggering 200 tons. But the ancient masons were not done. In 2014, German archaeologists unearthed a third block in the same quarry, this one weighing in at a hefty 1,650 tons. Why did these ancient people require a stone the size of 125 school buses? How did they plan to move such a behemoth? And why was the project abandoned? These questions remain unanswered. This third monolith represents the largest processed piece of stone in human history. More questions than answers persist. Some theorize the use of advanced technology by these ancient civilizations. Others remain skeptical, yet are driven to understand the logistics of moving such massive stones. Across the globe, countless ancient structures and artifacts challenge our understanding. Near the Pyramid of Djoser in Egypt lies the Serapeum, a network of tunnels containing 24 sarcophagi, each weighing between 70 and 100 tons. These colossal boxes, hewn from single blocks of granite, are sealed with massive lids. The sarcophagi are remarkably symmetrical, their walls polished to a glass-like smoothness. Even with today's advanced technology, this level of precision is a formidable challenge. Yet the ancient Egyptians achieved this feat. Consider the Lycurgus cup, a priceless artifact showcasing ancient nanotechnology. Crafted from glass that changes color depending on the light source, it appears green when lit from the front and a deep red when illuminated from behind. The figure of the Greek king Lycurgus even takes on a pale purple hue. The secret behind this color change, known as dichroism, remained a mystery until the late 20th century. Under powerful microscopes, scientists discovered nanoparticles of silver, gold and copper embedded within the glass matrix. These metals had been ground into an incredibly fine dust, an almost impossible feat to achieve by accident. Imagine, if you will, ancient experts meticulously at work, their purposes perhaps forever beyond our full comprehension. In Bolivia, a truly baffling place exists: Puma Punku. It appears as if some colossal being, a titan of old, was amusing itself with a massive construction set, only to abandon the game, scattering the enormous pieces haphazardly. Yet no giants existed. Instead, these gargantuan stone blocks were painstakingly carved by ancient artisans over 1,500 years ago. Some of these rocks are estimated to weigh a staggering 100 tons each. These immense blocks were transported to an altitude nearing 13,000 feet above sea level, sourced from a quarry some 60 miles distant from the construction site. Consider the landscape, devoid of forests. The builders were deprived of the use of trees for creating wooden rollers. This monument is attributed to the Inca civilization, a culture that, remarkably, may have possessed no knowledge of the wheel. How did they achieve such a feat? Now, let's journey to China, to a village where, in 1992, the inhabitants embarked on a project to drain a long-used pond. For generations, their ancestors had relied on this pond for washing clothes and harvesting fish. For 17 long days, they relentlessly pumped the water, until at last, the bottom of the reservoir revealed an astounding surprise. Before them yawned the entrance to a cave, plunging downwards to a depth of 100 feet. This incredible discovery was christened the Longyu Caves. Within, unknown builders had carved out a colossal 320,000 square feet of galleries. Imagine, separate chambers, bridges arching over unseen depths, pools reflecting the light, and columns supporting the massive ceiling. The cave walls are adorned with bizarre carved lines and intricate patterns. To this day, scientists remain baffled, unable to determine who constructed these caves or the purpose behind their creation. The very construction techniques employed remain shrouded in mystery. Consider Antonio Stradivari, an Italian artisan of the 18th century. He dedicated his life to crafting musical instruments. Over 600 of his creations have survived the ravages of time, with approximately 500 being violins. One such instrument fetched an astounding $16 million at auction. The violins produced by this master possess a unique sound, clear, resonant, and profoundly deep. Researchers have struggled to replicate or even fully comprehend the source of this sonic magic. Perhaps the secret lies within the varnish Stradivarius used to coat his violins. Or maybe the answer is hidden within the wood itself. During that era, Europe experienced a period of unusually cold climate. This resulted in denser wood, which imparted a uniquely pleasing quality to the instruments crafted from it. In Delhi, India, stands a towering pillar, reaching 23 feet in height. This iron pillar weighs 6.5 tons, composed of 98% wrought iron. Remarkably, despite being approximately 1,600 years old, it exhibits virtually no signs of rust or decay. Scientists theorize that the pillar's exceptional preservation is due to the region's arid climate and the unique chemical composition of the metal, rendering it remarkably resistant to corrosion. Yet the method by which ancient blacksmiths managed to forge an iron pillar impervious to rust remains an enigma, a feat that would challenge even modern metallurgists. Then, there's the Al-Nasla rock formation, a geological curiosity bisected with uncanny precision. The rock is cleaved perfectly in two, each boulder resting upon a small natural pedestal. Some suggest this is evidence of long-lost laser technology. However, geologists propose a more natural explanation. The split resulted from ground shifting or subtle, persistent natural vibrations deep within the earth. This slow, relentless process gradually caused the crack to appear, deepening over countless millennia, until the natural monument assumed its present, awe-inspiring form. Picture this: a colossal flying island suspended in the sky. In our modern age of artificial intelligence, it might seem like a digital creation. But this is real. This place, Roraima, is not an island at all, but a mountain. The illusion of a floating island is born from its unique flat top. Unlike typical mountains with pointed peaks, Roraima's summit is a plateau. This, combined with the frequent dense clouds that swirl around it, creates the optical illusion of an island adrift in the heavens. Despite advances in technology, Mount Roraima remains one of the Earth's truly uncharted territories. It has stood for nearly 2 billion years, making it one of the oldest geological formations on our planet. To put that in perspective, dinosaurs only appeared around 240 million years ago. Some scientists believe this area was once part of the supercontinent Gondwana. In that era, it wasn't yet a mountain. When Gondwana split apart, erosion sculpted the magnificent tabletop mountain we see today. What makes this place truly special is its prehistoric feel. It remains largely untouched. The late exploration of this part of South America has helped preserve its pristine condition. Remarkably, new species of flora and fauna are still being discovered there every year. For a mountain, it is relatively short, reaching only 9,220 feet. There are cities located at a higher altitude. Yet, Mount Roraima holds a unique allure, a window into a world untouched by time.